Hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 4 The Last Revelations. Zelgris 115 speaking. Let me welcome you to Coastal Ruins. Now this will be the level, the hub, the crossroads that connects all the Alexandria levels, including the level called Alexandria, which we just arrived from. So at any point you can just return through this tunnel and refill Lara's health, should you need to do that. I'm of course not going to do that because I follow a simple rule, and that is if the instance changes, it's a new video, and I want to keep that to minimum. Anyway, don't want to light up a flare here, so I'm just going to use the binocs, sweet binocs. There it is, a small health pack as a first surprise of the level. Very easy to miss. I sometimes was guilty of doing that because, come on, especially on the PS1 version, which is much darker, doesn't handle the dynamic lighting as well as the PC one. You can imagine. Now, a couple of things I want to make clear. All you need to do is enter this Egyptian exhibition, a lovely place indeed, retrieve some stuff, and then you can return to Jean-Yves to trigger a new cutscene. However, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to enter the Egyptian exhibition, retrieve some stuff, and then I'm going to show you the rest of the Coastal Ruins hub area. Simply because since this is our first time here, I want to show you what there is to it. I want to explain the logic behind the entire Alexandria area, and I also want to show you how to get all the kills and goodies as soon as possible within the one and only instance, right? So easy logic to follow. Again, it might not be the most efficient and, time-saving path, but I think it's the most enjoyable path and most informative path. And with that information in hand, you can make your own plans. So, first things first, let's enter the Egyptian adventure. This has such a strong 1930s black and white movies vibe. Of course we're gonna enter, come on, ignore the warnings, Lara. So, yeah, this is the fool that Jean-Yves talked about when we revisited him within our first Alexandria level visit. I don't think it's really fair. This Egyptian adventure is awesome. I could not bring myself to speak through that music. I think I used it during a final statistics video of the Lost Artifact when I teased that Tomb Raider 4 is gonna happen, and, well, there we are 2.5 years later and it is happening. Talk about delay. Now, there are sort of two entrances that you can take into the exhibition, the one forward. I'm gonna show you the longer one because I just think it allows us to explain what we're after a bit better. Or not? I don't know. So, here, this is what we are after. Inside there is a key into the catacombs that we need to unlock. Now, how do you get it, you might ask? Well, for some reason this fuse box, for a lack of a better word, which you can't destroy like in, apologies, in Tomb Raider 3, marks the spot from which you need a specific key item and interact with the window, and Lara will pull that key towards her. By the way, the only key item you have by now is the crowbar. Again, this is the first visit into Alexandria. I will start showing the necessary key items you should have in different stages once we actually possess them. The crowbar we picked up in the Desert Railroad 2 levels ago. So this is what we are after, and in order to pretty much get our hands on it, we need to combine a couple of pretty mundane items that are nevertheless key items, interestingly enough. So, mind the absolutely adorable paper cutouts and the fake electric torches. This is so cute. In the very first room to your left, you even have a... Well, I thought this was supposed to be a fortune teller, but it's actually a snake charmer who will charm a very specific item in this basket, which will enable us to climb up. It's crazy. Now, they don't really accept your standard currency, not even the local Egyptian one. Not sure what currency is used in Egypt nowadays. But, so Lara's cash and all her rich will do her no good. She will need a special token, and she will need to risk her life twice to get to it. So again, let's ignore the no entry warning. I love that it's in Arabic and also in English. The owner probably thought they're gonna get a lot of tourists, no doubt. And wow, look at this. Binoculars, binoculars, binoculars. Oh, okay, I'm not gonna do that. Holy hell, that's like using night vision during sunlight. Blinds you completely. So, this is very similar to the Sacred Lake puzzle, where we've seen an opening in the ceiling into which we could swim. This is much more brutal. these spike holes are just that, and if you step on any of the tiles in the real world, Lara will end up impaled. So let's jump over the first one, shall we? And be very careful. The fact that these spikes are triggered from a relative height, you don't have to step down like it's shown in the mirror. The fact that they're triggered at this level makes jumping over them a bit trickier. What would normally pass as a running jump to get above the spikes without taking any damage does not count in this particular room. So again, be very, very careful. That would be a good spot to hide a pickup. An invisible one. But anyway, all you need to do is just approach the mirror like this, and let's make a cool swan dive. And there we are. And now we are gonna get our hands on... my favorite weapon of this game, Crossbow. Yes, don't worry, it's not as lame as the harpoon gun was. But before I start fooling around with it, I just want to ensure we are out of here safely. I'm comfortable with the route we already took, so let me repeat that. And remember, the last tile, just adjacent to the stairs, is a spiky pit. So we want to make a bit of an earlier jump. And there we are in complete and utter safety. So this is my favorite path. You might have your own, going through the corner or something like that. Again, it might not seem like a big deal, but during my trial runs, I died here a couple of times. I really did. It's just I'm so good now, I make it look so easy, That's what's going on. Okay, so, crossbow. Wow, okay, whew. There it is. Now, it should be number 6, right? Yes, number 6 on the keyboard, if you're playing the PC version. Number 5 is the grenade gun. And there's a good reason why the crossbow is later on in the hotkey hierarchy than the grenade gun. It is simply a better weapon than the grenade launcher. I know this is crazy, but if you choose the explosive ammunition, you don't need to lob it like you would a grenade. The arrow will fly straight and true and reach your target and deal exactly the same amount of damage as a grenade would. I have tested this on enemies who can endure 6 grenades. So there pretty much is no reason to use grenades when you have explosive arrows, other than, of course, saving them up for later use. And this is the same logic I'll apply when I'll eventually, actually in this very level, I'll start using the wide shot ammunition. I'm probably gonna just set it up right away. Let me choose the normal for grenade gun, because we're not gonna get an opportunity to blind any enemies with flash ammo for a long time. And now let me choose the normal ammunition for this. Now you might also see, other than choose your ammo, there's also the combine key, as if this would be a key item. Well, that is because we finally found one of the weapons on which we can attach the laser sight. Again, does nothing on its own, but when you combine it, currently we can only with crossbow, we'll be able to do that with revolver later on. Here we go. The crossbow looks kind of sleek. I don't like the color scheme, to be honest, and the 2 fake Uzi clips protruding from its side, but there it is. Now, if you just draw the weapon and now use the look key, this is just like binoculars, and just like binoculars, you can zoom in. Oh, this is a game changer. This is so absolutely cool. Now, unfortunately, zooming out doesn't work for me, as I'm holding the look key to keep here. The moment you release look key, Lara will stop looking through the laser sight. So unfortunately, the zoom is only one directional. Maybe reassigning my keys would work, but honestly, I don't mind. With binocs, you can have a free range on zooming in and zooming out. So, that's the tutorial for the crossbow. Now, of course, I don't want to completely ignore the poisonous ammunition, but as I said, it's gonna be a while before we find particularly vulnerable enemies, organic enemies, let's say. There is one very unique and specific one I have in mind on which I'll use the poison ammo, probably another one as well, and I'll demonstrate what it does. For now, I'm just gonna say, one hit from a poison bolt will poison the enemy. It's not the same thing as poisoning Lara. If Lara is poisoned, her health will start depleting until she dies. This is not what happens with enemies. I have tested this for, well, the overall testing time could be around an hour, but I did. What will happen is that a poisoned enemy, if given enough time, usually between 15 or 20 seconds, depending on how much HP they have, their health will deplete all the way up until the smallest unit of health available in the game. Basically, if you poison an organic enemy, then wait a while, you can finish them off with one shot from your pistols, probably even one pistol. That I actually haven't tested, but doesn't make much difference. So that's what poison ammunition does. So if you have patience and a good hiding spot, they can be very useful if you want to conserve ammo. The problem is the balancing of this game. Ammunition is not something that's valuable in Tomb Raider 4 given the shotgun shells, but you know, we're gonna have some fun with all three types. But for now, let me choose the normal ammunition because I've been babbling on for long enough. And enter the main part of the exhibition. Look at this. That is absolutely adorable. Look at that goofy face. Now, I tried, you can't shoot its head off, you can't even make it explode or anything like that, and Lara will not aim at it like the mummy in the Tomb of Kolopek, okay? Even though that's literally the first thing that bombed into my mind from the classic era Tomb Raider. But it's so cute. And there's also a... I assume it's made out of carton or plastic or something, just a pyramid. You can't do anything with it, it can't be shot to be broken or anything along those lines. It's just here. The base of it actually ruins the aesthetics, to be honest, the wooden panel. Oh. Now, before we slide into where I'm very likely to die actually, let me explain what's going on first. So there is this side tunnel, which is actually way back. I'm gonna light up a flare here. But I'm gonna use it to show you a particularly easy way of overcoming the next challenge. You will take a bit of damage, but that's worth it. So claw here. Okay. Now that you've triggered the spikes, you can safely land. Do not step on any other tile, because you will trigger that tile's spikes. What you see up there are targets. We will, in a very, very strict time limit, have to hit all the targets with our crossbow, or maybe you can lob a grenade from that distance, in order to disable the spikes, drop down safely, and have the coin drop from... Oh, that looks like Seth's head, but wearing Pharaoh's mask. Interesting. Not mask, hat or cap, or however you would refer to it. I mean, those things were actually made out of cloth, so... Anyway, what you can do here, and why am I even showing you this? You can pretty much equip explosive ammo, and with a well-placed shot, fire and destroy around half of the targets. The first two rows should be emptied of targets. They will be blown to pieces. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, you can do the same thing once you'll slide here and you'll have a time limit, but you can do this already in advance so that you'll have less things to worry about before the time runs out. Yeah, so just a little trick. I'm not showing it to you what will actually happen because I want to do it the difficult way. No explosive arrows whatsoever. But you know, if you just don't feel up to it, or you'll run out of patience or anything along those lines, or this is not what you're in the mood for, you know, explosive arrows go all the way through. But if by some unfortunate accident you have none, then please do this. Remember the zoom key, okay, friends? That's very important. Now remember, the controls are inversed. Oh my god. Oh, okay, so we need to hit the little Egyptian characters, not the targets for the upper row. Oh! My god, that was so close! Okay, it seems I missed twice, so there is some leeway for error. Oh, I'm so glad. Whew. And we got our hands on a token! Yeah, it's not a coin, it's a token, so this is not like the Old Witch scenario with the ancient penny or anything like that. Let's see, we used 11 bolts, so I missed with 2, I believe, so yeah, that's not bad. So 9 hits are needed. And now, by now, this should be a very familiar crawl space. This was one of the things that actually scared me the most about doing a Tomb Raider 4 Let's Play, because back when I played the game in the past on the PS1 version, I had no idea you can zoom with the crossbow, so, you know, I always thought to myself, I'm just gonna do it using the explosive arrows, but then a corner of my mind told me, nah, you should try and tackle this challenge. But then I discovered zoom and I realized it's not that bad, as you've seen. There was still some margin for error, so I'm happy about that. Okay, token, let's insert it here. This is absolutely charming. Charming, see what I did there? Yeah, he charmed a rope. And when you realize where the rope leads, you'll lose it, trust me. Now, this is the point where it stops becoming charming and just becomes absolutely creepy, so I don't want to linger here. Cool thing is you can just start holding the action key and Lara will self-adjust backwards onto the rope. So if this was a climbable pole rather than a swinging rope, you know. Now, where does it lead? The janitor's closet. Imagine them having to risk life and limb on that crossbow archery range, trying to shoot, not run out of those, heck, I don't know, 15 seconds or so that you are given, just to, you know, when a broom snaps, for you to reach a new one. Now, one man's snapped broom is another woman's treasure, or something profound like that. What we basically now picked up is a handle, a broken one, right? We can't really combine it with anything.
No.
And we can't even use it to get this hook out of the wall. We'll use Crowbar for that. Why, you might ask? Oh, I bet you can't wait to find out, right? Seriously, these are the craziest key items so far. Yep, you can combine it with a broken handle. So I'm gonna do that in a short while. By the way, no, you cannot attach laser side attachment to the hook or the broken handle. Trust me, I have tried. You cannot even attach them to the crossbow or anything like that. Now, we can just return that path to return very quickly to where we need to insert our new tool, but let me show you the other way into the museum, just to see what we've skipped. Yeah, I probably should have used this entrance, right? Yeah, oh well. So this is the original Egyptian adventure one. So here you can just, you know, with a sad look on your face, look at something you cannot reach from this angle in any shape or form. But just let's go around the back. Now remember, you need to be next to this fuse box. Still, if I press the action key, nothing will be summoned up in the inventory screen, but combine the wall hook with a broken handle and you have a hook and a pole, and now it's automatically summoned up when you press the action key. Ah, not just a Tomb Raider, but apparently an entrance ticket booth burglar? Huh, something like that. Imagine her dropping it, then what? We would have to blast our way through with a grenade or something. That is cute. This is probably the first cutscene during which I'm speaking, I'm sorry about that. Okay, and there we are. Remember to pick it up. You might think, like, you know, whenever you use Crowbar or something, Lara automatically picks up her treasure. Not here. You have to take those few steps back where she throws it and pick it up. I would expect, you know, I would not blame you for expecting that she will pick it up during the cutscene, but no such luxury. And that's it. This wraps up our Egyptian adventure. Again, Jean-Yves, I'm not happy you called the owner a fool. I love this. This was really adorable. Imagine hundreds of impaled children on Spike. I mean, nothing's more adorable than that. Happy family trips and all that stuff. Okay, and now you can return to Jean-Yves and trigger another cutscene. I'm going to do that a bit later on. So let me take you to the actual ruins that Jean-Yves talked about. Apparently Von Croy's people are forcing their way through at the real crossroads, which leads to many different levels. The path on the left is empty. You can pretty much just, you know, jump over here and make it to the right one. Not sure why it's there, just to add a bit of flavor. And now I prefer to use the action key and make a running jump, which you can barely make. Yeah, just like that. So there is nothing in this pool. I really don't like this area. It is incredibly awkward to traverse, and we are going to be traversing it a lot. You also have to make an awkward angle jump and crawl climb in. It's just, I don't like it. So against my, I don't know. I really don't like the idea you have to crawl, then turn, then drop into the water, then swim up, then climb up. It's just a completely unnecessary thing. It's almost like they wanted to delay you, the player, to allow the game to load the rest of the level. I'm probably taking this idea of memory constraints too far. Yeah. Anyway, up we go, and soon we're gonna get a beautiful sweeping view of the entire Alexandria dig area. I mean, this is a sight to behold. So, did you get all that? Good, because it showed you barely half of what's actually here. So, just so we don't get lost, this is where we arrive from, this slope. So this is where we'll be returning to Alexandria to pay a visit to Jean-Yves. That's pretty much it. If you're not interested in talking with him, you can just stay here and never ever go back. So, it's entirely up to you and optional. No, you can't climb there. I tried, trust me. Now, whoa, where do I want to begin? So first things first, let me naturally show you, as the first thing, the thing that we're gonna do the last. And that is entering this, well, this ruined building over here, because that, my friends, marks the entrance, actually 2 entrances into the catacombs level. One from its very specific rear level, where we just need to do a small thing, and one from its main entrance. For that, we need the gate key we retrieved in the Egyptian Adventure exhibition. Okay, and the ruin that we passed by on our way here actually leads to a rear entrance into the catacombs. So think about the catacombs as something between that and this building connected underneath. That's one catacombs level. From the catacombs, we will also be able to reach the so-called Temple of Poseidon, which is here. This is sort of the rear entrance into the Temple of Poseidon, right? And let me actually show you straight away where the other paths lead. Because behind the Temple of Poseidon... Okay, there we go. Yeah, by the way, you can't swim out of the area. This is the northern coast of Egypt. You will not find the remnants of the lighthouse of Pharaohs or anything like that, unfortunately. Oh, no, don't tell me there are currents here. Oh, god damn it. I'm trapped. Okay, let's go like this. This should be fine. So yeah, currents are think of annoyance here. I will explain a bit later on, because there is a particular box of grenades that is very dangerous to get because of the currents. Okay. Now, this is an interesting area. Why do I say that? First of all, a lot of fake buildings with a lot of dead ends which lead nowhere. But you know what? Just for the peace of mind, I'm going to show you that there indeed is nothing here. So if you go up the warm and inviting ramp, at the very rear of this area, you'll find a tunnel which is empty on both ends. That's kind of depressing. I mean, I get it, these are ruins, so it's fairly unlikely anything would be surviving all these millennia, actually. See, this is also a dead end, nothing here, and over on this side you pretty much just have a fake door. Right? You can't enter it, you can't underswim it, you can't go over the roof, anything, it's just a pointless building. This one, we can ignore the door and enter through here. Where I'm taking you right now is the first and only secret of the coastal ruins area. However, not yet. This, my friends, is where a very interesting key item will be, and 2 goodies, 2 pickups over here and there. Why they are not here? Well, the only way they'll appear is if you enter this area from that chute over there, which leads into this pool. So the pool is just there to take your fall and help you survive. That's it. And when you'll be jumping from that chute over here, which, by the way, this is the Hall of Demetrius level, which is after the Lost Library, which is after the Temple of Poseidon, just to give you a sense of scope. This is a very interesting thing, because what I realized is that you can re-enter this chute and fall here, you know, just by walking and revisiting different levels many times, and each time you do, your secrets total count will increase by 1. So you can actually cheat the game into thinking you found more secrets than you actually did. Just an interesting thing that I'll point out once we make it to the Hall of Demetrius. So that's it. This is the first secret of the level, which we will have not yet triggered. We will do it a bit later in our Alexandria adventure, but it's just a good idea to keep in mind where it is. But the actual act of uncovering the secret is by doing something rather cool in the Hall of Demetrius level, so I'll be posting a link to both of these things in the video description, a time link, don't you worry. And now here is a gap into which you can swim, and then behind the rocks over here, follow the beautiful colored seaweed, and probably stop right here, because otherwise a strong current will take you. And where it will take you, well, that's Pharaohs, the Temple of Isis, behind which are Cleopatra's palaces, which is actually the last level of Alexandria. To enter the temple itself, we will need 2 key items, both of which we will find in the Lost Library and the Hall of Demetrius, into which the Temple of Poseidon leads. Now, to get to the Temple of Poseidon, well, The cool thing would be, of course, just to enter this building over here and take out the crowbar and open the door, but no! See, here's the thing, there are multiple iron bars like this, iron grates, doors, and only some of them can be opened by crowbar. The problem is they all look identical, so it's a trial and error. You don't know in advance which ones you can apply crowbar to or not. So don't worry too much if nothing happens, it's not a bug, most of them cannot be opened with a crowbar, I'll show you which ones can. This one has to be opened with a crowbar, but from the other side. There is no way to tell from the texture. And it's, by the way, purely optional to uncover all these rear entrances and things like that, because they're just for convenience, in case you are in different stages in your exploration journey, but they're not necessary. You can pretty much just do things forward. I'm of course gonna open up all of these and show you why they might be convenient, and I'll tackle that in a bit of a different order each time. Lara, please go up. Cooperate. Thank you. Actually, no, I think there's a way to even ignore the currents and climb up over here, right? Lara? No, don't... Oh, you're stuck. That's wait, no. Lara? Ah, this is so frustrating. Gosh darn it. Okay, okay. What about... No, I'm pretty sure this will be slippery. Oh, no, it's not. Lara, can you turn around? You cannot. Okay. Let me try it from a different angle. I remember I found a way to get through the rocks by ignoring the current. Maybe this will work. Yes! Oh my god, finally! And now, up here... Okay. Careful, not into the water. Oh, there we go, perfect! So there is a way to avoid the currents. Awesome. So this should be very familiar by now. This is where we pretty much entered the area and got the cool sweeping shot of it, right? By the way, you can also enter the Temple of Poseidon entrance by jumping on the roof over here. Let me show you, just so you are not too confused or wondering, Hazelgaddis, why didn't you show us what can be seen from up there? If I don't show it, it's either there's nothing there or it's something, yeah, I pretty much missed and wasn't aware of. It's not intentional. And this is where you can drop in. Yeah, but you can't climb up as easily, so I'm not going to do that again. We've been there just a short while ago. Perfect. So, yeah, again, I talked about this being the rear entrance into the catacombs, connecting these two buildings underground. But there are finally, because this place is rather big but empty, you know, which is sort of depressing. Let me show you the entrance itself. Again, it's iron bars. Again, nothing will happen if you try to use the crowbar. It will have to be opened from the other side, which we will eventually do once we reach the other side, that is. Mind the cool camera angle? Now, goodies. Our exploration should be rewarded at least a little. So I'm gonna do two things here. I'm gonna first pick up a bunch of crossbow bolts, and then I'm gonna introduce you to a completely new and interesting enemy type that we are gonna keep encountering over and over and over in Alexandria. But don't worry, I'm gonna show you how best to deal with them, and also how to deal with them in a funny but inefficient way. So there we are, just normal crossbow bolts. Let me make the jump. Oh, you could already catch a glimpse. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to Skelly, our skeleton friend, who will rip us to shreds. He probably wants to see Lara's guts spill with it. Whoa! Oh no, he did that. Lara, you probably have a gangrenous wound or something. I mean, that thing is ancient, blunt, rusty. No amount of pistols damage, or Uzi's damage, or even shotgun damage, or even crossbow bolt damage, or even flash grenade damage, or even revolver damage is gonna hurt this guy in any shape or form. So what are we to do? Are we just supposed to run? Are we supposed to consider this an unkillable enemy? No, that is absolutely unacceptable. There are several ways you can do about this. The most direct and obvious one probably is to blast him away with a grenade. If you do that, either normal or super grenade or explosive arrow, that's it, he'll be obliterated. It will bring him everlasting peace, which, yeah, I feel good about, you know, I feel sorry for them in a way. Now, there is another way to also bring them everlasting peace, and that is simply to knock them down. From a certain height, not just like that. Now let me explain a very important thing here. Why am I switching over to wide shot ammo? Could it be that we finally found a use for it? That we finally found the one and only thing in the entire game that it's better for? No. It's simply because I don't want to waste the good ammo. Okay, so I'm gonna choose wide shot, and the reason is that this is not about dealing damage as much as it is about knocking the skeleton down, and regular shotgun ammunition does it just as well. So, again, I tried this. I was testing this over and over to find some way in which the wide shot ammunition is better. Once, in all the hours I spent here, I managed to knock down 2 skeletons with 1 shotgun shot from a wide shot ammunition. But the event is so rare that pretty much next millennium has to arrive and the stars need to be in the correct constellation as per the prophecy of Samarkand for wide shot ammunition to have any effect. Then I learned another trick, so we need some accuracy for this. Oh, there we go, 3 bolts. And now our skeleton friend literally lost his head, and he's gonna run around like a fool. He's pretty harmless. Now, here's the thing. I do not consider this a kill. We disarmed him, sure, but, you know, he's still alive. So I'm gonna show you our main way of dealing with skeletons, and don't worry, it might seem intimidating now because I didn't set him up well, and by letting him run loose without his head, I pretty much wasted a lot of shotgun ammunition because he's not in the correct position. But the best way to deal with skeletons is to knock them down. Now he didn't even fall to the water, which by the way also works. He fell here. And there is a brief moment when his body flashes in a pile of dust and disappears. So being skeletons, they can weather bullets, but, you know, enough blunt trauma like a fall, and they shatter. So this is how we are gonna deal with skeletons. Now the very cool thing is, just to avoid things getting boring, there are 3 different kinds of skeletons we are gonna encounter in Alexandria. By the way, all are identical in terms of, well, their attacks, movements, their defense, but they at least look different, which I really appreciate. By the way, you may have also noticed that he had a shield. Sometimes these guys, and I hope we'll see that at some point, it's very rare, they go into the defense, and when they raise their shield in a defensive position without moving, you can't knock them down with a shotgun. But sometimes you can actually destroy those same shields with shotgun blasts when they're not blocking with them. It's a strange mechanic. But if we were to use the crossbow, for example, to aim at the shield instead... Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Instead of the head, then we could have also destroyed their shield and their defensive capability. But it's just better to, you know, to not bother, to just destroy them outright, I think. But, you know, could be something like a challenge that you want to challenge yourself. I think it's pretty cool. Now, over here, box of grenades. Ah, finally, these are so rare, even though they're worse in every way than the explosive arrows, but still, there they are, much rarer. And this is probably the most dangerous part of the level. Oh, Lara, please. Oh, thank goodness. This is the smoothest... You know what? No, you're not gonna believe me unless I show you. No, again, come on. I want to show you why I hate this place so much. See, Lara is being turned against my will. I'm not turning her. This is happening on its own. And sometimes she gets... Oh, this is what I'm talking about. Stuck here. You can't turn her. You can't swim up. You can't swim down. All that works here is pressing the roll key or up and down arrows at the same time. And this is not me turning her. This is the game. This is the current. Automatically turning her to the left. I know, it's insane. But it is happening. And now we are back where the box of grenades was, and we are running out of breath. Oh my god, we don't have much time. I'm probably gonna regret horribly showing this to you, am I not? Oh, Lara, please. And we can't go back. Okay, no. The stakes are high. We need to make it out of here. Oh. Please, Lara. Don't let me down. Oh. Thank you. I didn't want to use the first health pack in the game. Oh, thank you so much, Lara. Well, that was a bit more excitement than I bargained for. Oh, okay. So by now you will have found, what the different parts of the ruins do, this entire coastal ruins area. So the last one I left unexplored, and the first one I showed you over here, the main entrance into the catacombs level. Now, observe something very interesting. There they are. 2 of them, no less. Each armed with that rusty sword and shield, just like the previous one. Oh, these guys are so adorable. Such strong Jason and the Argonauts vibes, seriously. Okay, and see, they're quite athletic. I mean, they can endure a jump, and yet they cannot endure a fall. Now you can either shotgun them away into the pit behind the stairs there, or I'm gonna show you a much more fun thing to do. The one I did not yet. Blow them to pieces. You know, honestly, of course this might differ to you, but whenever you have an opportunity to get rid of 2 or sometimes even 3 of these guys with 1 explosive projectile, just do that. There are so many explosives here thanks to the crossbow. I really recommend it, it's great fun. Otherwise, what we could have done was to pretty much knock them into this pit. Even a short height like this is completely sufficient to shatter a skeleton, right? So that's what that is for. Now, before we go to the place where the skeletons came from, because that's the only way to progress, I'm also gonna do a bit of, well, extra trekking around and show you what's down here. Even though it's not necessary now, I pretty much just wanna cover the coastal ruins completely. Interesting things happening here. See the crossbows over there? Why do you think that heavy stone is above it? Because it's just waiting for an opportunity for Lara to step underneath it and crush her. Now it's completely possible and actually even fairly easy to climb on that and then get out with enough time for the boulder not to crush you. But there is a more creative way to get rid of it, which I don't understand why, but I somehow really admire. First of all, pick up the torch here, it's still a pickup. Second of all, don't get too close to this brazier. The moment you cross the threshold of the next square, Lara will be set on fire. See the distance from which you can light the torch? It's crazy. So, in a way, lighting the torch is even more dangerous than triggering the boulder on its own. But anyway, the cool thing here you can do is just jump with the torch so the rope gets on fire. And now the boulder will drop. Yeah. By the way, give it a time before it stops. And even a second or 2 after, because even if you touch it when it's completely still, it can kill you. But now it should be safe. Yeah. Okay, and that's it. That's the only purpose of this torch, right? And over here, basically, is a crawl space into the catacombs level, but only a very small, isolated part of it, where we need to do one simple thing. In order to be able to do the one simple thing, we actually first need to enter the main entrance of the catacombs to do an even simpler thing. It doesn't make much sense now, but trust me. There are 2 entrances into the same level, well actually 3 if we consider the rear entrance in the other part of the coastal ruins, all connected to the same instance. This is quite unlike anything we've seen in Tomb Raider so far. So, let's go where the skeletons did. You can take a shorter path and jump from here directly, but you know what, for the first time, ceremoniously, I'm gonna, you know, do it in a less efficient way. Just to gloat or something, I don't know. Okay. Oh, and mind the goodies here. Very easy to miss from that angle. You would be forgiven to think that it's just another one of those empty alcoves in the coastal ruins. No, not this one. Full of goodies. Great stuff. Okay, we can just drop here safely. And you know what? I don't want to die. We are doing so well in this level so far. This hub level, hub area. Make a proper setup jump. And now... well, we haven't seen quite iron grate like this. And you can't use the crowbar for this one either. You have to use the actual gate key. This is why we went to the Egyptian Adventure Exhibition, by the way, in case you were wondering. So now what's gonna happen is that when you take the few extra steps, you enter the catacombs level. So what this means for us is that we are at the end of our first out of 9 visits into the coastal ruins. I know it's absolutely insane. And for now we have found 11 out of 14 items, and we have killed 3 out of 5 enemies. 2 of them via grenade, 1 of them via shotgun blast knockdown. And whilst I showed you, and we even reached the area of secret number 1, we did not trigger it, nor did we get the goodies. You need to enter it through the Hall of Demetrius in order to trigger it and get your hands on the goodies. So, the remaining items and kills and the secret will be tackled in the future, in one of our many optional even revisits to the coastal ruins, because we miss Jean-Yves too dearly. and I also want to show you all the hidden side entrances into the different levels outside of the main linear way they're connected. And overall, I think this really gets across the scope of Tomb Raiders for most complicated hub area, the reason why you had to wait so long for me to upload more videos. Well, there you have it. So, that's it for the Coastal Ruins, so let me make a very happy save here, not override Alexandria. And with that, I will see you guys next time for just a very brief video, please don't be disappointed, but a very important one for the playlist nevertheless, in the Catacombs level.